They go too.
At Sydney Airport, Daryl has been stopped at arrivals.
Do I look like a drug pusher or...?
Well, looks can be deceiving. No, look, most people actually carry narcotics don't have ponytails and that sort of stuff.
The problem is his passport. While immigration takes a closer look, Daryl claims it's just water damaged.
It was in the car. It slipped out, man. It slipped under the seat. I didn't see it.
Oh,
I didn't realise it, and it rained in.
Yeah, okay.
Because he had his window smashed from somebody breaking in, and the whole thing was flooded, and that's why it looks like that.
What we found on this is that there are breaks in the security features that are printed on the lamina. On the adhesive side of the lamina, there is a security print. Once you lift that off the photo, it will break that security print.
Car seals leak, carpet gets wet, passport gets soaked. It's a plausible story, but the idea is why would you have the passport about your person when you're travelling in your own country?
Yeah, exactly.
Driving around with your mate.
The top right-hand corner, you can see the break is over the photograph.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the bottom left,
It's not very good at all.
yeah, the crown is just damaged.
The hard thing is, like, if this bloke's passport is false, he's very calm.
At arrivals in Melbourne, officers are just as puzzled by a Japanese tourist who can't stop sweating.
We've got a passenger here who Michael and Peter are speaking to.
And what do you plan to do here in Melbourne?
Just stay 3 days and to take train to Cairns.
Okay.
He's just decided to come to Australia 2 days ago. It makes us very suspicious.
And do you have any accommodation in Cairns?
What accommodation mean?
You somewhere to stay? A place to stay?
Well, I have hotel reservation.
You have a hotel? Okay.
You buy this phone to use here in Australia?
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, okay. Just want to check the phone to see if there's any messages or any Australian phone numbers in there that might bring some sort of relevance to why he's here or what he might be doing while he's here.
No clues in the phone, but the bundles of tissues might hold some answers.
What are these ones for?
Tomikaze's sweat glands just went into overdrive. It's 8 a.m. at the Brisbane Mail Centre.
Oh, look, look, look. Oh, Mills and Boone, an impossible kind of man.
Kath works for Customs.
You know what? I've got the whole series of these.
Melissa for quarantine.
I don't have these too.
They're part of the team that screens all overseas mail,
Cans.
postmarked Queensland.
Oh, look, it's a willy whacker. The most effective form of birth control ever invented.
It's fair to say they've seen it all.
Ah, it's a hen's night kit. It's not prohibited.
The screening is a lucky dip that often pays dividends.
All right, got a live one here from London. Looks like we've got a plant here. A live plant. Looks like it's a magnolia, if that's the right plant there that it's come with.
Plants and soil from Europe bring with it the threat of disease.
Oh, and inside we have a couple of worms. All right. This here. Just having a look through here to see if there's any more worms.
Immigration will look after you now, sir, okay?
Back in Sydney.
My name's Ross, I'm an immigration officer.
How you doing?
What I need to do, Daryl, is ask you some questions about your reason for coming to Australia.
Right.
Okay, would you like to follow me? Just bring your baggage with you.
Daryl's damaged passport has landed him in the hot seat.
The main issue that is in question here is the fact that your passport has been assessed as a passport that has been tampered with.
It's my original passport. It's just happened to get wet. It was left under the front seat of a car and the window was left open.
Okay.
That's what happened to it. It's me. You can see it as if you look clearly.
It is an offence under the Migration Act to provide false answers or misleading answers to an immigration officer.
I don't know what to say to that, because it's my passport.
What's the main purpose of you coming here?
He seems very nervous. He's very sweating, like quite a lot.
The tissues are hiding some sort of crystal or resin.
What is that?
That must be drugs.
Sorry?
That must be drugs.
The Green Gate. It's the final checkpoint for incoming passengers with nothing to declare.
And everything inside the bags belongs to yourselves?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just have a quick look in this bag here.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Mehmet are back from a holiday in Europe.
Did you read question number 6?
Question number 6, please.
But there's a hiccup.
I think they got a whole lot of bananas. Which... Do you have any... You have bananas with you?
Yeah.
Oh. How come you didn't declare your bananas?
Oh, sorry, we bought those seeds on the plane.
Did you watch the video on the plane about what you can bring into Australia and what you can't?
Yes, we did, yeah.
You did?
Yeah, but I forgot all about it.
We're both rotten with colds. We're not concentrating, I suppose.
The fact is that you haven't declared them on your incoming passenger card.
We're guilty.
Yeah, but I had to buy something because I'm diabetic. I can prove it to eat, and then I forget all about it.
I don't need proof, sir.
Yeah.
I said the fact is that by signing the legal document and declaring that you have no food, you're telling us that you don't have any food with you at all.
I'm rotten with the flu.
It's not going to argue about it. You've done it. We haven't.
All right, so what you going to do about it?
In immigration at Sydney Airport, Daryl says he's here to visit a long-lost friend.
We grew up together, we went to college together. That's how I met Guy.
You've never been here before?
No.
Daryl's having a tough time convincing Ross that he's just a tourist.
Do you have a contact telephone number for Guy?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any other persons in Australia?
No one.
The main issue that is in question here is the passport that has been presented by you for immigration clearance has been assessed as a passport that has been tampered with. And given that, it brings to question your identity.
Oh, okay.
Which is not unreasonable, is it?
No, it's not unreasonable at all, but I can't say how much that got it wet. But I've got my identity document here and my driver's license.
I do have those in my possession. Have you ever held another passport other than that passport you've been presented?
Never. Never, ever.
This passport was issued 23rd of March 01. On the back page, this is a replacement for passport issued at Pretoria 30 June 98, declared stolen. So the true holder of this passport lost his passport and subsequently got this. Because he's got these documents, right? These documents were obtained after the grant of this passport.
By failing to declare these items, you could get a fine of $220, or you could even get taken to court.
This is not the welcome home the Mehmets had hoped for.
Here, madam, would you like a tissue?
Don't cry. I'll go to jail if they want to put me to jail.
No, it's not that. It's just you have to understand the
I
importance.
know, I understand, but I'm rotten with cold. Can you understand me? I've been robbed. I'm standing in the middle of a road with no money. I got more things in my mind. I got a lot of things in my mind. I can prove it. I got a police report from
That's
from
fine,
Holland.
sir. All I'm saying is that banana is a very high-risk food to come into Australia, and it is totally prohibited to come
It
into
looks
Australia.
like an innocent mistake, but rules are rules.
How many times have you travelled in and out of Australia?
That's the first time.
Well, when he came over from Hungary.
And yourself?
Yeah, that's my first time out of Australia.
Just one moment. I just want to speak to a fellow officer. Just hold a
That's all
moment.
right, yeah.
Well, they've done the crime,
Okay.
but should they get the fine? It's Nadia's call.
It's their first time out of Australia.
We've had handbags stolen, our luggage is...
We've been robbed in Denmark, I'm in Holland. We've been robbed with everything. We're standing on the middle of a road with no money, no passport, no flight tickets, nothing.
In customs, Tomikaze has confessed to carrying drugs.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So what sort is it?
I didn't think it was India.
So what is it?
I don't know how to say that in English though.
What do you do with it?
I used to take that. I used to do that.
So what do you do with it?
I smoke with it.
You smoke it?
It's a live specimen with the live worm, so it's going to be all for destruction. The worms are going to be identified and then disposed of or incinerated, and the plant will also be destroyed as well. So the person who was to receive this will not get it.
Instead, they'll receive a notice of destruction.
London to Brisbane, now to the entomology.
Meanwhile, Kath is x-raying a new container load of mail in from the UK.
Somebody left their keys behind.
Dietary supplements.
You start to pick up shapes and things like that. Possibly some fishing lures. That would be a mobile phone charger. You can see the wiring is wrapped around. No. Oh, hang on. Can you grab that one? I think there might be tabbies in there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 there. A normal videotape wouldn't have that inconsistency along that area.
In Japan, are you allowed to take it?
What is it? Is it against law or something?
Yeah, in Japan.
It's against law.
Tomikaze has been caught bringing narcotics into the country.
It is a drug, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The reason he was sweating so much, he's a drug addict.
What I need to do, if that's a drug, okay, I need to caution you. So listen to what I'm going to say. You do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Because of the look of the particular substance, it appears that it may be the drug known as ice.
We may need a translator, so. Japanese.
The quantity that we saw at the bench seems to be personal use. It will depend on what the extent of the examination is. I'll have to go with the further police here.
Do you have any more?
The demeanour of our passenger has changed significantly in the past 15 minutes.
In Sydney, Daryl is falling apart, and so is his passport.
He reckons it got wet. Now, has it been wet?
Well, yeah, you can see there's...
I can see it's been...
The pages have been wet, it's subsequently dried. And you can see that the galoshes, the upper left-hand side of the photo, they've been severed. And when you go to the right-hand side, these galoshes have been severed as well.
Around the photograph, I can see some yellow. Is that glue?
Fresh glue on an old passport could mean the photo was swapped.
But we need to make absolutely certain that the
Exactly
passport
right.
is that document. Right, look at it.
If it is a forgery, it's a good one.
Damaging a passport with water is often done deliberately to disguise any fraudulent activity that may have taken place.
I'm just unscrewing some of these screws in this video cassette. As you can see from the x-ray, it appears to be some tablets. The sender has tried to conceal them inside the video cassette. The x-ray showed a little bit of an inconsistency, possibly tablets. So we're just going to open this videotape just to double check that they are in fact, it is tablets. They could be prohibited. There we go, look at that.
Put it on the bench, they're going to fall everywhere.
The Mehmeds have returned from the holiday from hell and landed into more trouble.
I think of meats, dried meats and those sort of things, but as the girls, it was fresh food.
Failing to declare their bananas looks like costing them a $220 fine.
Okay, because it's your first time travelling into Australia again, okay, and you look like you've genuinely forgotten about them.
Genuinely, yeah,
I
that's right. Yeah.
won't be fining you today. I will be giving you a written warning.
Yeah, that's all right.
You will get a fine next time or even be taken to court.
Yeah, I know that, but it's just innocently we didn't fill it up.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough, she's told
Yeah,
me
all
about it.
I will be confiscating these bananas
Yes, sir.
today, okay?
Yeah. I don't want it.
You can take your backpack there, okay?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Never even entered my mind, a banana, whatsoever.
They do carry a very high risk of disease. Black sigatoka is one of them. And if these diseases get into Australia, they could ruin our banana industry in no time at all.
I don't even want to go out of the country again. It was my first and last time. Never, ever.
Home, bittersweet home. Can you believe it? It's Mrs. Mehmet's birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. It's her birthday today.
Back in immigration.
Now, Daryl, I've had a good look at this passport and it is in very poor condition.
I know that. But it's my real passport.
I asked you in an earlier question whether you had ever had another passport issued to you.
Yeah, I did have one before this. It got lost.
Yeah, the answer you provided to that question was no, you hadn't.
No, this is my second British passport. Yeah, I think so. I'm sure it is my second one.
Have you ever had any problems with the police in South Africa?
Just depends what type of problems.
What was the answer to the question, do you have any criminal convictions? What's the answer you've provided?
But no.
Is that a truthful answer?
Besides that answer, no.
No, it isn't, is it?
But it was years ago.
Okay.
So it would have fallen away.
Does that question indicate to you any period of time elapsed?
No, it doesn't.
Have you committed any offences which have required you to present in court to answer charges?
I don't know what... No, I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe a couple of... I don't know.
Have you got a good memory?
No.
In Brisbane,
Look-see there.
the home video is not what it seems.
Excellent. What do you got? 10 tablets.
They look like ecstasy.
That's another one from the UK, is it, Kat?
It is.
Yes, they don't seem to think we can X-ray through them. They look fine on the outside, but an X-ray shows them up quite clearly, so here's another one.
From past history, usually ecstasy tablets that do come through, they have some sort of emblem printed on them. Commercial tablets tend to be very perfect in their shape, the edges. These are a little bit rough, so it could be homemade. Just going to take a little bit of the residue. And what the iron scan machine, it'll actually heat it up and cooks it. That's told us that it has tested positive to MDMA, which is the chemical name for ecstasy, and our graph shows us that it's peaked at the calibration for MDMA. The swab we tested was ecstasy.
Police seized the ecstasy pills, but there was not enough evidence to charge anyone with importation. Ross from immigration is finally getting to the truth. Daryl from South Africa has a criminal past.
So, after the age of 18, which you've told me about this incident of breaking into a showroom and removing furniture.
Yeah.
Have there been any other incidences where you have been taken to court and prosecuted?
It was so long ago, I can't remember. I was in hospital because my memories.
Why were you in hospital?
I was found OD'd on drugs, but I didn't take the drugs. Somebody had injected it into me when I was sleeping. Somebody tried to kill me. I think it was the ex-girlfriend. And I was in a coma, and I was on 7 machines keeping me alive.
What sort of drugs were injected into you?
I don't know, they never knew.
Have you ever been involved in situations where you've been prosecuted for criminal activity?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Ross needs to determine if the offences are serious enough to prevent Daryl from entering Australia.
I suppose it sticks with you forever.
Do you want to tell me about those incidences, Daryl?
In customs at Melbourne Airport, the suspected narcotic
that's come up for methamphetamine.
Has tested positive.
Although this is only a presumptive test, it's not forensic, it does give us a good idea that it may be a narcotic.
That would explain
Oh, okay.
all that sweating,
So
a
this is
side
brand
effect
new.
from taking the designer drug.
We need to pack your stuff up and we'll take you into a room. Okay, and we'll continue the examination in there. Okay?
It's called chasing the dragon. What they do is they get some aluminium foil, they put it in there and then they heat it with a lighter and then they breathe in the fumes.
He admitted that he was a user in Japan and that this trip here was an attempt to him to get off the drug so he could then return to Japan drug-free.
Kamikaze was carrying 1 gram of ice and 0.3 grams of cannabis resin. He was convicted and fined $500.
If we send you back to South Africa, would the police be waiting for you?
No. Why? No one will be waiting
Well,
here
you've
for
given
me,
me-
except for my mother will have to come fetch me.
There's 2 issues that we have at hand here. You provide an incorrect answer on the passenger card, and you've also presented to a clearance officer a document that is not deemed to be a document suitable for immigration
Even though
clearance.
it's my real passport.
Well,
But
we'll be-
anyway, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just sit down for a moment.
No, I want a cigarette now. Now I want a cigarette.
Take a seat,
because now I'm
please.
getting kicked out for nothing.
So I'm going to give you a notice of intent to cancel your visa.
This is what drives me mad because this is my real passport. It got wet.
Alright.
And now all this is come off because it got wet.
Okay.
If Daryl's even a chance to get in, he'll have to come clean on his criminal past and hope Paul can verify his ID.
Would you be able to provide telephone number of any relatives that you may have in South Africa?
My mother.
Your mother? So we might be able to contact her?
Tell her I'm coming home.
The target address is the second address in from the main street. Kung, Rafiq and Michelle. Just position yourself in the backyard.
It's the final briefing before an immigration operation on an Indonesian restaurant.
Information's about one person in particular, and it is that she will not be wearing a uniform. It's a restaurant. If there's a lot of people in there, we'll move them into the dining area and identify them there. Okay, we all clear?
Cool, let's go.
They're acting on a tip-off. A suspected illegal migrant is working in the restaurant.
Okay, guys, we've got to go.
Front and back are covered. The officers move in.
Kung, we've made entry. Just stand by. So are you the owner?
Yes.
Yep, okay. As I explained, we're here with a search warrant.
There's no need to be worried, lady.
I have reason to believe there might be somebody here who doesn't have permission to work or may not have permission to be in Australia. That's my search warrant.
We just need to see photo identification. Can you hop up, please, madam?
Do you have a
Madam,
bag here
can
at
you
all?
hop up,
A handbag?
please? Hop
With
up.
your identification? Ma'am, do you have any identification?
In arrivals at Sydney Airport, flight BA9 is in from Thailand.
We have some information that makes us believe that we may have a narcotic courier on this flight.
Getting heroin, opium and ephedrine.
How's your English, okay? Yep. All right. What we've done an iron scan and we're getting some readings that appear to indicate the possible presence of heroin. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Is there any reason why that might occur?
My brother is heroin addicted, so I don't know if.
Or your brother?
Yeah.
Is your brother here or here?
Here.
He's here.
But this background, if it's anything, maybe it's from Australia.
The proof may be in the X-ray.
Although it's built up, it's not solid. There, it's not solid. It should be solid. I'll get a ghost image if it was.
He claims the only drugs he's carrying are painkillers.
Negative, but there's nothing there.
And he's desperate for one right now.
I've got very bad pain.
Yeah?
I'm one of my tablets.
Oh, okay. We can always get you to have a seat if you want.
Okay, can I have one of my tablets
Okay.
as well?
Can we bundle up all of this stuff?
Can I have one of them?
All right, just 1 minute.
Now, I asked you before how many people were here and you said you and your wife.
Yeah.
Who's this lady?
Yeah, he's walking here.
Okay, what is her name?
Achin. Yeah.
Okay, does she have a visa?
I don't know. Before he has.
What sort of visa did she have before?
Bridging.
Mrs. Jeff, you're right to stand out.
Nama saya Kirsty, saya bekerja di imigrasi. Visa tidak? Okay, no visa.
January.
Two
or
kitchen
July.
hands have overstayed their visas.
You don't have a visa, you do understand that, you've indicated that, and that you must come with me, okay? All right.
If found guilty of knowingly employing illegal workers, the owner could be fined up to $10,000.
The boss actually indicated that there are only 2 people on site, so I need to talk to him about exactly what all these people are doing here. I want you to be honest with me, and then we can work together, okay? There are 4 people here. You said there were 2. There are, in fact, 4 people. Now, what is this man doing here? The shop sign said closed. He's not eating.
He must customer. Ask him. He must see.
Sir, I'm asking you.
Kirsty's concerned he too may be working in the restaurant.
The shop says closed.
Yeah, we open 11 o'clock. We open 11 o'clock.
Why did the sign say closed when we came in?
Yeah, because we're still cleaning up on the bed.
So you allow customers in when the shop's closed?
Yeah, because this is my customer, a regular customer.
Do you know this man at all?
Daryl, a traveller from South Africa, has not made a good first impression on immigration officers.
I should never have come here in the first place.
We have not decided to kick you out of Australia or cancel your visa. This is a process that we go through.
It all started with Daryl's dodgy-looking passport.
He reckons it got wet. Now, has it been wet?
The pages have been wet, it's subsequently dried. Then you can see that the galoshes, the upper left-hand side of the photo, they've been severed.
And then there were those criminal convictions he forgot to declare.
You provide an incorrect answer on the passenger card, and you've also presented to a clearance officer a document that is not deemed to be a document suitable for immigration
Even
clearance.
though it's my real passport. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Well, just sit down for a moment.
No, I want a cigarette now. Now I want a cigarette.
Take a seat,
because now I'm
please.
getting kicked out for nothing.
He's given me his mother's phone number in South Africa and his sister's phone number. So I'm going to make a call to them just to satisfy ourselves, because there is doubt about his identity because of the state of his passport.
Daryl has one chance only of getting in. Come clean on his police record.
And you have been convicted, is that correct?
Yeah, once or twice, I'm sure.
And hope Paul can verify his identity.
Please come in.
Back in customs.
You can leave your luggage here. Alka-Seltzers, all right, we won't worry about those. They're just for indigestion, yeah?
Morris is searching for a link between medication and the heroin reading.
I've got a little bit pain because I don't know what happened. I get a little bit nervous.
This one here, you say is your medication. It is. What is it?
Actually, it's heavy painkiller.
A painkiller.
What it is and the meniscus on my knee.
You take this for the pain or the swelling?
Yes, for the pain.
Smugglers who ingest drugs often take painkillers to ease the discomfort.
And did you take some on the flight?
No, that's
None.
why. Because
you've only just started feeling it.
Yeah, because
have you?
on flight, I mean, it's a bit strong. It gives you vomiting, you know.
What's it say there? Control, release.
In immigration, Paul has verified that the person he's talking to is Daryl's sister.
Can you give me your brother's name, please? The reason I'm asking is that his passport is in a bit of a state of disrepair.
What I've got here, Daryl, is a form which asks you questions about criminal convictions. Now, you've told me about 3 of them.
One for stealing furniture as a juvenile and 2 other minor offences committed years ago.
Maybe you can remember some more, eh?
Beg your pardon? It got wet.
How about we start with your name?
Yeah, I'd rather not put in any more forms here in this place.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd rather just go home.
Did you see him off at Johannesburg Airport? And so at that time they had concerns about the passport, is that correct?
Is there any information that could be asked in this piece of paper here that could incriminate you further than what information that you've already provided has?
I've never harmed anybody. I've never done anything bad to anybody. It was just all my own doings. It's just get me on a plane and send me home.
Daryl's had enough, but he's in for a surprise.
We need to detain you in our immigration detention centre because there is not an available flight to South Africa today.
So what's that?
Would you be able to give us a physical description of what Daryl looks like, please? Long brown hair, yeah. Brown eyes. Scar on face.
In jail?
No, it's a detention centre.
You're joking with me.
Is finally getting his painkiller.
All right, I'm going to allow you to take one of those. That's all right. Can you just take one for me?
Yes, I will.
There you go. I'll be back with you in a minute, all right? Just relax. If you need more water, tell the officer and the officer will let me know, okay?
Meanwhile, next door,
Shake up the bottles so that there's anything set up.
the search continues for harder drugs.
All of these things here,
Mm-hmm.
do they all belong to this gentleman
passenger
here?
in the room, yeah.
All right. Do you know if he has any more?
It's a puzzle.
What I'm
7
gonna do-
bottles of shampoo, very little hair, and a reading for heroin.
What I'm doing is I'm just drying the test sample. It just dries off the extra ingredients, especially I think the fragrance ingredients in that. I've seen a lot of concealments within liquids, especially alcohol. That's a negative. that I-
Tested all those.
These have, yeah, they've been x-rayed.
X-ray, nick test, iron scan.
Iron scan's negative.
All right, okay.
Nothing. And just one more bottle to test. 2 illegal migrants have been detained in a Marrickville restaurant.
Because you don't have a visa, I'm detaining you under Section 189 of the Migration Act.
Now it's a customer being questioned.
This regular customer.
Okay, what has he ordered?
Yusuf says he was just waiting for takeaway.
You can add him.
If he's a customer, has he made an order yet?
Yes.
But he's about to get a lot more than he ordered.
That's that slip over there?
Yeah, there.
All right.
You can see inside there.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. Just stay there, please, sir.
Where do you get money from? Where do you get that money?
Sean.
Where do you get that money from?
Before, I was working before.
When was the last time you worked as a delivery driver here?
A couple of months ago.
So you don't work anywhere at the moment? And
Out of work
the last time
and
you
out of
worked-
luck. A record search shows Yusuf has spent 6 years living illegally in Australia.
Are they onshore or offshore?
Onshore.
Are you sure? Do you have any children in Australia? Are you married?
I'm married, but
Where's your wife?
I don't know where.
You've got a wife and 3 children in Australia. Where are they? Where are those 4 people? You don't know where they are. I find that difficult to believe that you don't know where your wife and children are. You've got 2 car keys by the look of it. So whose keys are these? Are they both yours? I'm not satisfied that you're telling me the truth.
We've got 3 people who do not hold visas to be in Australia. Okay. So I'll just explain that to them.
For the owner, relief of sorts. He's down 2 staff, but there's no $10,000 fine. He's been issued with a warning notice.
So do you know that you have no visa to be in Australia? Okay. The Migration Act says that if you don't have a visa, you must be detained, okay? So I'm detaining you under Section 189 of the Migration Act.
All for all 3.
Rafiq, yep.
Just watch your step.
Madam, you say goodbye here.
This way.
Say goodbye, it's time to go now.
Watch your head.
Yeah, bring in Rafiq, yep. Lisa, are you right?
That's inside. Walk, please. Come back. Thank you. Come on. You can ring her later.
You can sit here if you want. Do you want to sit here?
Just in the van for the time being until we identify. Yep, we'll go to your car in a minute, okay, sir? Just take a seat in there.
All right, I'm giving another shot.
Christina is testing the last of bottles of shampoo. Minute traces of heroin have already been found in his bag.
Yep, Coke. Can you go tell Morris it's Coke?
Is you cautioned?
It's not what they were looking for, but it's not pure spa either.
The shampoo is yours?
Actually, it is big bottles. That's 4 shampoo, 2 conditioner.
All right, okay. Now, one of the other officers has done some narcotic field tests of the shampoo, and we've got some positive results for what we believe to be narcotics. Okay? So based on that, time is now? 7:15. I have to caution you, okay? Under Australian law, I'm obliged to tell you that you do not have to say or do anything. Anything you say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yusuf has been taken back to immigration head office.
For myself, it's better. He sent me back in the jail.
So you're happy to go home?
I'm happy to go home.
After 6 years living illegally, Yusuf has finally given himself up.
When did you last have contact with your wife?
No,
Yeah.
I forgot everything.
But he won't give up his family.
Now, today you had your daughter's car.
Yeah, you can keep the car after you
No,
send
no.
it.
I don't want the car. I'm wondering if you have regular contact, so if you speak to her or see her each day. I think you might.
If you see me like this, maybe my wife, my children will be crying. I don't know, like that.
Okay.
Take me to fill out, and
Right.
then when you buy me the ticket.
Okay. I think he's relaxed because he's probably expected this day for a long time. He's been without a visa for 6 years, and I think that would be a very nerve-wracking experience, constantly wondering if today immigration's going to knock on the door.
Subsequent investigations by immigration revealed that Yusuf has relatives living unlawfully in Australia. Yusuf, Achen and Budaman were all removed to Indonesia. Will Daryl be the next to be sent home?
The information you've provided me is entirely consistent with what he's told us, and your description of him matches Daryl from what we see. So I'll just say this, that his chances of being allowed into Australia have markedly increased since I've spoken to you.
But it's far from over.
Have you ever committed an offence which has attracted a term of imprisonment, Daryl?
No, I've never been imprisonment.
Oh, well, so that's pretty much satisfied me that he's a genuine passport holder, because she's given an accurate physical description, the sister, of his appearance, and she even had knowledge of the condition of his passport, because she said that his passport got wet at a friend's place.
Get me on a plane and send me home. I will see my friend when he comes to South Africa sometime.
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
The only thing now is that he's admitted that he's ticked no to criminal convictions on his passenger card. So I'll just question him about that and see what his convictions are. He did say that they were many years ago and he has no sentence of imprisonment.
Is he expecting you to meet with him?
Yeah, well, I'm sure he knows I'm not coming now. I'm sure he's phoned my mother and let her know that I'm stuck in immigration, so they'll know I'll be coming home.
Okay, well, we'll just have to wait until Paul comes back. He's got some other information that he wants to give you.
Now, if it turns out that his criminal convictions are not that serious, then there's every likelihood we'll clear him. He'll be allowed in.
You want some water?
At Sydney Airport, Daryl has dug his heels in.
Paul, he won't fill out that criminal declaration.
Okay, well, I better go and have a chat with him then.
Yeah, see if you can get something out of him, mate.
No worries. You know, I telephoned your sister. Yeah, and she verified everything regarding your physical appearance, the condition of your passport. Okay, so we're satisfied of your identity. That was the main reason that you were referred to us. Okay. Now the remaining issue is that you've ticked no to criminal conviction on the passenger card. What we need to do is assess what convictions that you have. So to the best of your recollection, it's very important that you write it down, okay? Now, if we're satisfied that the convictions don't enliven our Migration Act character provisions, okay, then we'll allow you in. See, if you refuse to provide any details, okay, then the inference is that maybe you're not writing it down because they're very serious criminal convictions.
No,
so,
yeah, I can.
But all we ask you to do, we're not going to use it against you because you say that the convictions occurred many years ago. Okay.
Long time when I was young.
Okay. All right.
This is, as far as I can remember, this is
great.
everything.
All right, thanks.
So it's old, I've changed.
I'm going to detain him for a frisk search.
Alright.
Okay?
In customs, no smoking gun, but is far from squeaky clean.
We have equipment here that gives us indications only. We don't have a full laboratory that lets us know exactly. So we've got coke, possibly in shampoo bottles, in suspension, possibly in a liquid, maybe even in the shampoo, in some form of cream.
And Morris suspects there's more.
I'm of the view that he may be concealing narcotics internally, and I'm getting the Australian Federal Police to take him off to hospital for an X-ray or an ultrasound. So we're waiting for the Australian Federal Police to interview and let us know what goes on from there.
The shampoo was forensically tested. No further traces of cocaine were found. But an internal examination revealed had swallowed 143 grams of heroin worth $381,000. Paul has confirmed that Darryl's offences were all minor, committed years ago. There's now just one question remaining.
Why did you tick no?
Because I was scared.
All right.
You know?
Well, it's
not a nice thing to do, to tick.
What I'm inclined to do today is exercise my discretion and not cancel your visa. And it's on the basis that the convictions will allow you in.
Thank you.
Okay? But in the future, when you travel into Australia, you need to correctly tick the boxes. You come out now.
Serious?
Yeah.
Not a good start to my vacation, is it?
The document that you presented is in an atrocious condition, and it certainly brings reason for us to question the credibility of it.
It's just in bad condition, which I understand
It's
now.
appalling.
Yeah.
And seriously,
My mother told me this before she left. She said, you can't have your passport looking like this. So I thought, I'm sure it's going to be okay. She was right.
You should always believe your mother, I think.
Right, thank you. That was Customs. They've just completed a baggage search on a young female passenger. They have some concerns that she may not be here for genuine tourism purposes while she's on a tourist visa. So we're going to invite her back for a quick chat.
Peter has a Korean interpreter on the phone.
My mother?
No, it's an interpreter.
But something's gotten lost in translation.
What are you talking about? Are you crazy? Huh? Get out of my way! 내 인생에 끼어들지 말라고 너!
Can I speak to the interpreter, please?
왜 이런 일이 일어났는지 얘기를 해달라고 나는!
If you have questions, why don't you talk to me instead of the interpreter? I can answer your questions. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers. Bye-bye. Okay, we're going to get another interpreter now. That interpreter doesn't want to talk to you. You want to talk to me?
Man to man.
All right.
Tell me.
Okay.
I can tell you.
0 Lima 44, go ahead, over.
The top end.
We will be investigating this target, over.
Coastwatch has spotted a boat taking cover in the mangroves.
Over, we'll be standing by.
Illegal fishermen, drug runners or human traffickers. Customs vessel Arnhem Bay has joined the chase.
They're just moving out of the mangroves. They've created a mud trail, so we should be able to pick them up.
With their small boats and their dinghies and dugouts, they can scoot up little virtually drains, get up into the mangroves and use it as virtually like a letterbox.
As the aircraft flew overhead, they found that they were over in that direction over there, and we could see yellow floats in the mangroves, which would indicate that possibly they've tried to hide some fishing gear up in the mangroves there and then make their way, distance themselves from it, and in their attempt to escape us, they've run aground on this reef.
Back in Sydney.
There are many Korean people to travel. Why me?
Miss Song says she's just here for a 1-month holiday.
Okay, don't get upset. I'm just asking you some questions here.
But she's made no bookings and has very little money.
The Customs Service tells me that you've brought about 500 Australian dollars with you altogether. So where are you going to stay?
Hotel, because hotel is
But you can only sleep in a hotel, say, 1-2 nights here in Sydney. They're very expensive. And the money that you have, you can't live.
So if I have no room,
Yeah.
I will sleep in street or.
See, this is the problem that concerns immigration, okay?
And I've heard Sydney there are a lot of Korean.
Mm.
So I want to meet Korean. I talk to in Korean.
So you don't know anybody else in Sydney?
No.
I'm worried about this, okay? You tell me that you're here for 1 month as a tourist, and you're just going to look around Sydney, but you don't seem to have enough money to support yourself for a week, much less for a month. Are you coming here to work? Yeah, Zulu 60, this is 61. We have evidence of fresh blood on deck. And down below. And drying shark fin tied to an aft mast over.
Down below, further evidence that the Indonesian crew may have been fishing illegally in the area.
Search, as you can see, there's appears to be shark fin. There's quite a bit of shark fin down here, and amongst their bags of rice, just located some quite large ones.
How much shark fin do you reckon's on board, Jack?
Probably between 5 and 10 kilo, I suppose.
Skipper reckons 10.
If convicted, the captain and his crew could be fined up to $500,000. Fishing illegally in Australian waters is risky business.
Could you indicate to them that they're not to leave?
Roger that. We've just got a warning from the ACV that there's been rumoured to be anything up to about a 4.5 metre croc in this area.
Jack, that list is becoming a bit dangerous, mate. You best get up.
You have a tourist visa, not a work visa.
Yes, I know.
Miss Song has $500 to last a month. Peter can't see her making it unless she works illegally.
Can you get more money from Korea?
I'm not rich.
I don't want you to sleep on the streets.
Eat hamburger,
Yes.
hot dog, I say cheap hotel.
Yeah, $65. That's 4 or 5 days. Have you got a credit card?
No.
We suspect she's come here to work, but we've got no idea of the background, and it's pretty traumatic for her.
A second interpreter might get some answers.
If it's possible to have a different one, they had a bit of a falling out.
Miss Song wants to make a deal.
You don't have empty room?
No, I have children. I have no room.
I can teach Korean your children.
Not in 1 month, you can't.
And I can dishwashing, dish, clean house, I can do.
Yeah, but see, if you're on a tourist visa, you can't do any of that.
No money, just the
No, you
service,
can't do it
service.
anyway.
Sydney Airport, the cargo mail handling centre. This is where customs officers screen all priority mail postmarked Sydney.
I'm pushing these parcels all day, and you just wait for that one parcel that's going to make your day, and you know it when you see it on the screen. It's what brings me to work every day, just trying to find those drugs. Jimmy, I think I've got something.
Have a look at the cans. They're not consistent all the way through. So if it's food, it should cover the whole can. We've got gaps around the side, all that way, and they're not consistent. Like that's similar to what if you wrap something in a condom or you wrap it in plastic. And in my experience, that's loaded. That's got gear in it for sure.
I don't get excited until we get the dogs running over it.
Find a mate.
Utah's a drug expert. If she sits, the package recipient is in trouble.
Good dog. Why don't you come? Utah. Find it. Good dog. It's too hard.
There's been no reaction from the dogs. All I know is there's an unusual image on the screen.
I'm just going to go and talk to my boss.
Miss Song is having a moment to cool down while her case is assessed.
I've finished my preliminary chat with this lady.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones we could call 50-50, quite frankly. I actually believe her when she tells me that she's a bit of an artist, a bit of a young, free spirit, and that her plan was really to link up with young Koreans and DOS. She said at first that she'd sleep on the streets if she ran out of money, but then she said she'd go home. It really is...
Has she got a credit card?
No, she's got no credit card. She's got no access to any further funds.
Peter, I think it's not 50-50.
You don't think it's 50-50?
No.
It really, I mean, she'd exhaust the funds in 2 or 3 days.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And then she's destitute.
Unless
and then
she
what
finds her
happens?
young Korean friend who gives her a bed and a meal and all of that, but it's a lot of ifs. She might advance other reasons that I haven't already heard, so we'll listen to whatever she has to say, and then we'll make a final decision after that.
Back in the mailroom, the dodgy package includes 2 cans of soup.
There's no liquid fuel in the cans.
But Arthur's not buying.
It says for 25 gram. They don't feel that heavy, so I think I'm going to weigh it.
All right.
The weight says 425 grams, indicates 390 grams, which doesn't agree with the manufacturers, and being UK, they would be spot on with their weights. This one weighs 350 grams, both same type of cans, so the weights are different. I'd expect the weight to differ 2, 3 grams, 4 grams, but we're talking over 30 grams.
Thank you. Hello, Day. Yes, Peter. You're on the speakerphone, so we should be able to do this a little easier. All right, Miss Sun, we have not made a final decision to cancel your visa as yet, and we would seek your reasons why we should not cancel your visa before we make that decision.
Miss Song tried shouting her way into the country. She even offered Pete free housekeeping. This is her last shot.
I collected every money that I could find, and I spent all of them to buy the airline ticket, and the leftover I brought here with me. I didn't know the airfare was so expensive, and the exchange rate was just terribly high. I left the country for this trip almost like a runaway, and I don't see any meaning in my life. Could you allow me to travel as long as my money runs out?
But the problem is, Miss Sun, you've only brought enough with you to last you till this weekend.
I can leave this country on weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid that your ticket is booked for sometime in February. And we intend today to consider the question of your cancellation.
Miss Song hasn't told Peter the whole story. She hasn't played her final card yet.
Had some decent shark fin on board, I know that much.
It's worth between $4,000 and $8,000. The boarding team is now searching for proof that it was fished from the area.
We're just going to make our way into the mangroves now and take a look at those yellow fishing floats. We saw rock tracks going up the beach and into a swamp, so they're in the area. At the moment, I'm very quickly chucking these floats in the boat because I want to spend the least amount of time on the beach as I can.
And it's not just because of the crop warning.
A return now, over.
A second foreign vessel has been spotted in the area.
This is 6-1. Hello? English anyone? We have 6 persons on board. The vessel's name is Bella Vista, but at this stage no fishing product found.
The Indonesian captain claims they're here sheltering from bad weather, but Customs is not convinced.
Just a very warm boat, a very warm motor. Means that they've only just recently motored to this position, or that they've had the motor running, and then possibly worked out that we were too close to make a break for it.
On board the Indonesian fishing boat...
The weather was no good. They knew there was islands here, so they come here for shelter.
The captain's story checks out. There's no evidence to suggest they were here fishing illegally.
Yeah, go ahead, 6-0. This is 6-1.
Just noticing 2 persons waiting off our previous Type 3. I wonder if you could wind up what you're doing there and go up and see what that's about, over.
Yeah, roger that.
But the first fishing boat, Sinardabo, is in deep trouble, and now 2 of its crew have jumped ship.
The problem here is that they've come to a place that's not a proclaimed port, that's an offence, and there's a number of Commonwealth issues involved there, quarantine and immigration.
Are you concerned about the spears, over?
I'm not concerned about the spears, but certainly the fact that they've landed, I feel we should probably walk over there and escort them back to their vessel, over. Yeah, put down. I told you to stay on the boat, not to come ashore, didn't I? What's wrong?
Shore party, Zulu 62.
Just experiencing some breathing difficulties.
Not asthma or anything, eh?
Might be asthma. He's...
The mailroom at Sydney Airport.
Now I think we're onto something.
Both cans of soup weigh much less than they should.
And it's definitely not soup. There's something inside it. Feels solid. Could be hash, could be... Don't know until I open it up. I wonder what it is. Originally I thought they were tablets. Could even be that tightly packed. No, it's a powder. Jimmy, bring me number 13. I'm now putting it in a test kit that's going to be tested for cocaine, which is the most common drug that we find these days. If it turns blue, we've got cocaine.
Nightfall in the Wessel Islands has brought with it a rising tide and a rising temperature.
We have a male person, 45 years old, suffering with difficulty breathing and chest pain. He's coughing up a white phlegm. And apparently it's only a new occurrence in the last week. It's an ongoing asthmatic problem.
Getting the vessel off the reef has become a matter of urgency.
That current's fair roaring at the present time.
We can try, mate, but you know what I mean? Once you get it loose. Probably safe once it's sitting here and back off on the slack water.
And we want to aim everything at the ACV. I reckon we might be a goer. I'm just everything from the stern now. We're still on the rock. Guys, you got to start pulling. Put your tension on it. Tension on that rope.
The vessel that we've just pulled off the reef is now claimed he's got an engine problem. My concern is that he might be setting us up for a bit of a sucker punch here, making us think that he hasn't got the capability to move off under his own steam. At this stage, everyone's very tired. I want my guys to get some sleep, and I'm not unconvinced that this guy might make a move later on tonight.
And there it is, very pure stuff with that colour blue. Now I feel like a winner. Now I've got the green because it's confirmed.
Proof positive. The soup cans contain cocaine.
Yep, okay. You'll come out this afternoon. Thanks very much.
The Australian Federal Police seized the package. Forensic testing later revealed that the cans contained 593 grams of cocaine. That's a street value of around $120,000.
They've become very good at it because usually there's indicators on the can that gives it away, but as you can see, it looks quite normal.
The parcel will now be repackaged and used as bait to catch the drug trafficker.
시내만 구경하고 가겠다고.
But I just want to travel around the city. Our God.
Miss Song has saved her best till
So
last.
apart from you just wanting to see Sydney for a couple of days until your money runs out and then go home, do you have any other reason why your visa should not be cancelled?
I've got somebody to see.
Who have you got to see? You told me you knew nobody. What's that person's name?
그 사람도 저를 알고 저도 그 사람을 알거든요.
The person knows me, I know him.
But you can't tell me this person's name.
이름은 누군지 이름을 말할 수 없잖아요. Famous Korean man with the surname of Un, but I can't tell you much about him. I just got a feeling that he's here.
I think you're lying to me, Miss Sun. Either you were lying to
그
me.
사람이랑 결혼을 하고 싶어서.
Either you were lying to me before when you said you knew nobody in Sydney and you had no contacts here, or you're lying to me now.
이유는 그 사람을 못 만날 수도 있기 때문이에요.
Okay, Miss Sun, I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Peter now thinks he's heard it all.
I've served the notice of intention to cancel. In her reasons why the visa shouldn't be cancelled, she's come up with a new story.
You're kidding?
No. She now tells us that she's here to marry somebody, another Korean gentleman whose name she either doesn't know or doesn't want to tell us. She has a feeling that he's here but doesn't know that he's here and has no contact details that she either has or is willing to disclose. So I said to her, look, the first reason you have insufficient funds to be the tourist for your proposed period of stay. You've now come up with a different reason for you coming here, and that doesn't accord with the purposes of a tourist visa anyway. And I think she was making that second story up as she went along, quite frankly.
Yeah.
He's very famous, apparently, and linked to the South Korean president.
But she can't remember his name. I don't know. I'd worry for her if she were in Australia on a tourist visa. I'd worry that she'd be prey to unscrupulous people.
All the reasons for coming now are just completely gone. So?
She might come up with a third story.
The medical emergency is over.
This is our guys having all the breathing difficulties, smoking the cigarette and shouting instructions.
Doing that this morning.
Yeah. Miracle, isn't it?
It appears to have been a diversion. The crew has now confessed to having long lines out to sea.
I jogged on the telephone the consulate at Indonesia di sana. I've just told the captain that because he's been fishing here, he will now be going to an Australian port, namely the port of Nhulunbuy, where he will talk to the Department of Fisheries in relation to his fishing venture here.
But first, a detour to collect one final piece of evidence.
Hill. Mau foto ya? Di sana. Yeah.
The owner, the captain and a crew member were charged with fishing illegally. The captain and the crewman both received good behaviour bonds. The owner, a third-time offender, was jailed for 30 days. After serving his sentence, the owner posted a bond for the release of his vessel and sailed back to Indonesia. In immigration,
that you do not have sufficient funds to be able to support yourself here as a tourist, and we intend to cancel today your tourist visa. Because you don't have a visa, I'm now detaining you. You are now in our custody and you are not free to leave.
Miss Song is going home to Korea, but there's still something missing, the truth.
She's pressed the button. Can you tell me what's really happening? Because we have different stories, the true story.
I came here to leave Korea. I want to feel freedom. But now, it is freedom.
Sometimes you go home and you have a lot of sleepless nights. Did I make the right decision? You know, what is their family going to say? Are you sending them back to poverty? There's issues like that that you, as a human being, you can't avoid.
Yesterday, I was going out from my home. Exactly. I'm sorry.
It's fine. What happened? Why did you leave home?
I can live there. Korea made me crazy.
Korea makes you crazy. I think she does want freedom. I think she's a runaway.
I'm just looking at a car here. Just one area in here. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, just behind that seat. Yep. And just in front of the engine block.
Yeah.
A prestige car can sometimes be the Trojan horse when smuggling drugs into the country. The trick is knowing where to look.
It's got heaps. Basically what we've done, we've put the camera in between the back panel of the seat so we can see the leather of the seat and also the foam of the interior of what the seat's made up of. Whatever is on Magella's image, unfortunately it's not behind this seat.
It wasn't actually in the seats, what I could see. It was sort of like just in front of the tyre. There's the back of the chairs there.
Yep.
It's actually, seems like it's in, like up in there.
And the area here as well. Well, hang on mate, come back a little bit.
Immigration, Sydney Airport.
Nice to meet you. I need to just have a chat to you about your passport and stuff, so come up here and we'll have a chat, eh?
Mark is returning home from a business trip to China.
Come on in, sir. Take a seat.
But there are questions about where his real home is.
Okay. This passport is an Australian passport. Yeah. And it's issued in the name of Mr. Mark Lau. Is that your identity?
Yeah, it's me.
Have you ever been known by any other names, Mr. Lau?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me where you were born?
I born in the 1st of December in the 79.
In what? Where?
In the caine. In the Darwin.
In Darwin.
Yeah.
Okay. So is English your first language?
I can speak English and Mandarin.
Okay, because you speak English with an accent that I would not normally associate with somebody born in Australia.
Yeah.
Do you have any comment about that?
Because most time in my family I'm speaking for the Chinese. It's my problem.
All right. Is that the first passport that you've had?
Yes.
Okay. We have received information that says that this passport may have been fraudulently obtained.
No, that's good enough. That's fine.
So it doesn't explain why it's fuzzy.
Swabs are taken from different parts of the car for testing.
If the person has put narcotics in here, there's a fair chance that some of the residue might have been on their fingers. They then proceeded to get in the car, drive the car, and it will show up anywhere basically on the areas that you'd put your hands.
If these tests are negative, the car is clean.
Passenger one first, mate. What we've got now is the swabs we've taken from the car, and we're now just going to put them through what is our iron scan machine.
That one was from the spare tyre.
Back in Sydney.
Have you got any other forms of identification that I can see?
I got everything in here.
Mark's having a hard time convincing Peter that the passport is his.
Do any of these forms of identification predate the issue of this passport in 2002?
Yes, I think I got a couple of credit cards before this date.
Okay, all right.
I opened this company before I got the passport.
Okay, when did you open your company?
I think in 2001.
In 2001.
My company originally turnover is over $20 million, man. No small amount.
Your company turns over $20 million. What do you do?
I do the DVD sale.
But there's a missing piece to this puzzle.
So you opened your business in 2001.
Yeah.
But you didn't ask for your passport until late 2002.
Yeah.
You had no need for a passport before then?
No.
You used this passport immediately after you got it? Straight away?
No, after 1 month or 2 months. Because in the Christmas time, I need to go to China for the purchasing meeting, something like this one.
Yeah, I see that you went to Hong Kong in December 2002.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been to Hong Kong, Macau, UK, Germany, Switzerland. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, information's come up to us that we have to talk about. What have you got?
I got a Pontus Platinum car. How many times I can fly before I get this one? You can check.
Oh yeah, frequent flyer points. Yeah.
Yeah, for the Platinum one?
Mark may have a great credit rating, but it's his identity that's in question.
Okay. None of these documents, though, none of these predate the issue of this passport. And what I'm interested in is verification of you as an Australian before these identification documents were issued.
His passport is only 2 years old, and he doesn't talk like a man who's lived in Australia his whole life.
This is no fair for me, man. I got everything in here. I can't guarantee my... How can I carry something proof my before the day?
It's time to get personal.
What was the name of the school you went to?
Hi, Lalam Primary School.
Can you spell that for me?
Lalam. In Canberra, called Lalam Primary School.
In Canberra?
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you move from Darwin to Canberra?
Oh, this is my wow, 3 years old age, something like that.
When you were about 3 years old?
Yeah.
What was your high school?
Yeah, Lalam High School.
I'll get you to write that for me as well, please. I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble understanding the spelling. Lilam.
Yeah, that's near Dixon.
Okay, but you should be able to write it.
I can't remember the school name.
You can't remember the school name?
On last week's show, customs officers at Sydney Airport's mail handling centre discovered something unusual during a routine screening.
Jimmy, I think I've got something.
Have a look at the cans. They're not consistent all the way through. So if it's food, it should cover the whole can. No problem, you've got gaps around the side, all that way, and they're not consistent. Like that's similar to what if you wrap something in a condom or you wrap it in plastic. In my opinion, and in my experience, that's loaded. That's got gear in it for sure.
It appeared to be a package containing 2 cans of soup, but the officers were suspicious.
The weight indicates 390 grams, which doesn't agree with the manufacturers, and being UK, they would be spot on with their weights. There's something inside it. Feels solid. Could be hash, could be... I wonder what it is. Originally I thought they were tablets. Could even be that tightly packed. No, it's a powder. Jimmy, bring me number 13. I'm now putting it in a test kit that's going to be tested for cocaine, which is the most common drug that we find these days. If it turns blue, we've got cocaine.
So far, Mark is not scoring well on the Mark test.
What was the address that you lived in Canberra?
I live in the 31 Lichen Street.
Lichen Street?
Lichen Street.
L-I?
L-E-L-G-E-R.
I'm sorry, please. For what period would you say during your childhood your parents were living full-time in Australia?
I think when from year 1 to year 7.
Year 1 to year 7?
Yeah.
And then
kindergarten.
And what happened after that?
After that, I just like my father always go traveling around.
So you live with your mum?
Yeah.
So your father left Australia about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and he went to France.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask one of my colleagues to do something for me, and then I'll come back. Can I get a movement check done, please?
It's rubbish. Totally rubbish. Every year I pay the million tax for this bloody shit.
Back in Melbourne, traces of drugs have been found on the Ferrari.
We've had an alarm for a possible detection of ecstasy. It's come from the spare tyre. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go out and retest it again. So I'll go around the top, the side, the bottom. So I'd just like to make sure that I'm only getting the reading from the one spot. I'd be happier, personally, if we got it all the way around, because that indicates to us there's something in there.
That way, if there's any in the air inside, probably get a good indication because it's under pressure. Driver's side in.
Well, we seem to be getting alarms from other areas on the tyre now. I guess if we continue to get this, then we'll definitely have to chase that tyre up and pull it out and probably x-ray it.
Go for the base. I think the interesting one now will be whether or not we get it off the air valve.
The Ferrari is worth $60,000.
Another one. So it's all the way around the rim, we've got those results.
But it could easily contain ecstasy worth many times that.
Now it's a case of covering the bases. So where do you want to go from here?
X-ray it.
It's not secured in any way?
No, I didn't think it was.
No, let's pull it in.
I'll just bring it over, mate, and we'll throw it in the X-ray machine.
I'll put it on its side on the conveyor first.
Got the image come up now, and look at that image, that's a very clear image. That's the outer rim. That's just the tread of the tyre, slightly thicker, so it shows up as a slightly darker image. This is where the inner tube would be.
And there it is. Very pure stuff with that colour blue.
Their suspicions were right. The soup cans are filled with 593 grams of cocaine, with a street value of around $120,000. The key now is to catch the drug trafficker. The Australian Federal Police escorted the package to a small post office on the south coast of New South Wales. The addressee was told that his package had arrived. Police waited and the package was picked up. Greg, the addressee, said he met a man during his honeymoon in Bali. He claimed the man offered him $5,000 if he would accept delivery of the package.
There's no anomalies there that I can see?
Nah. In this instance, there's definitely nothing in that tyre.
Traces of drugs have been found in the Ferrari, but so far, no hard evidence.
There's always a possibility that the X-ray may have missed something, given the location of perhaps where the drugs are. It might come up as a smudge, as is shown on the X-ray. So we'll certainly concentrate on those areas.
Wearing special socks so he doesn't scratch the expensive Duco, Alpha, the sniffer dog, will do the final test.
It's a good boy. Find it.
Nothing. The Ferrari is clean. The results from the tyre swab were wrong.
The only thing I can think of with the ecstasy readings is a possible reaction to the rubber compound of the tyre.
Back in immigration.
This is his father. He's supposed to have been an Australian citizen, went 2 years ago to France, born in 1950, Laos. That's his mother, surnamed Lee, L-I. Can you let me know when you've done?
Yeah.
Thanks.
While Mark's story gets checked out, the questions continue.
How did you actually obtain this passport? How did you get it?
I just applied in the post office.
Mm-hmm. And what did you have to send them?
I sent him driver license, medical card, and the birth certificate.
Uh-huh. How did you get the birth certificate?
From my mom.
But mate, you said that your parents left Australia 2 years ago. You got this passport 1.5 years ago. How did you get the birth certificate from your mother? So you didn't get it from your mum, you already had it, is what you're telling me.
My mom.
No record for either.
Okay. I didn't think there would be. Mr. Lau, there's no record of your parents by that name leaving Australia at the time that you said. There's no record, in fact, of your parents at all on our departmental systems. Can you explain that to me?
I don't know.
Why would your parents not appear on our systems?
I don't know.
They travelled as normal passengers, you said 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Lived here for at least 15 years?
Yes.
Your father used to spend a lot of time going to Hong Kong or overseas, you said, for business?
I don't know.
I don't think you do, Mr. Lau, because I don't think you're telling me the truth.
At Sydney Airport.
Can I go outside for smoking?
No, you can't. Not at this stage. There's nowhere in the airport where we're permitted to smoke.
Mark is still trying to prove that he is the Mark Lau, born in Darwin in 1979 and raised in Canberra.
Just like one more thing is my first sense. I give you whatever.
I can't. Not right now.
If you're holding me 48 hours, I can't. In the 48 hours time, I
Well,
can't.
if we ended up holding you because we're not satisfied as to your identity or your immigration status, you would go to the Immigration Detention Centre at Villawood, where you could smoke. But in the meantime, Mr. Lau, and I'll call you that for the moment because I don't know who you really are, I suggest you think very carefully about your position, and I think you should think very carefully about whether or not you should cooperate with these inquiries. Interview suspended at 11:35.
Over in quarantine,
Oh no, not for me.
there's a hold-up over some undeclared almonds.
No, any seeds in here or in your pockets?
No.
Nothing. This is all.
You like avocado?
More in here.
Because one of
Oh, look, these ones. You said there was no more.
she mother, she bring this for her. She want to have a baby 2 months to marry.
No, I'm not married.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because the woman when she married, if you have a baby about 2 months, or 3 months, or 1 month, she like different to eat, you know?
Something different to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The man has a large family and one of them is soon to have a baby.
Oh, the woman lives in Australia. She wants a baby. She wants this. So you're bringing it for somebody else.
It's a good story, but
They
her
tell you to
craving
bring it
for
to Australia.
almonds could end up being very expensive.
Can you read this? This is not allowed.
Why?
Why? Because it is fresh. Nothing fresh. That's $220.
Not me put in here. Or
But
any
that was
fruit.
your bag.
I said no fruit.
Yeah, but what is this?
Not me.
His reaction seems to be a little bit, do what you want with me or whatever, but you can get that reaction as a bluff. So no, I'm not reading too much into his behaviour at the moment, but I am very concerned about the way he can't speak with any familiarity about places from his childhood that he should be intimate with. Have you voted in Australia?
No.
Why not?
What's mean? I don't understand what's this one.
Okay. Most Australian citizens
Yeah.
would understand that voting in this country is compulsory
Yeah?
and that you have been 18 years of age, according to this passport,
Yeah?
before the last federal election.
Yeah?
Okay?
Yeah?
So I'm asking you, did you vote?
I
You didn't vote.
What's mean of what?
Mr. Lau, I must tell you, I have a lot of problems in believing that you've spent all your life in Australia and that you were born and educated here. I believe that you are not speaking English like a native-born Australian, and I don't believe that you're telling me the truth about your birthplace and your citizenship.
Okay, if you don't trust me, you found something approved, you don't trust me.
We asked you if you had any food, and I checked in a bag, and I asked you if you had any more, and you said no more. You said no more, though, didn't you? And when I asked you the questions, you changed the story.
She mother is put in here, not me.
Did you read this?
Like all fresh food, almonds from overseas are a disease risk. The man admits he signed the Nothing to Declare card without reading it.
You haven't got the glasses, you know?
So you didn't read it because you haven't got glasses.
No, you know?
I'm going to give you your first and only warning. Okay, this is a warning. Do not bring anything like this again, okay?
What to do for it?
What do I do with it?
Yeah.
Gets put in a bin and destroyed. I didn't find him tonight because I believe that he didn't pack the bag. It's his first time back into Australia, so tonight's his lucky night.
The interview is going nowhere fast.
The street name that you gave me doesn't exist. We've just gone on the internet and had a look at the street map, and it doesn't exist.
Like Street in Downer.
You wrote Liga Street?
In Downer.
In where?
In Downer.
Dunga.
Downer.
Next to Dixon.
Next to Dixon.
How do you spell Dunga?
Downer, I think.
Downer.
Yeah,
Right,
Downer
Downer.
Street.
So you would have done most of your shopping in Dixon, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What sort of shops do we have in Dixon?
Dixon got one called Woolworths, one large Woolworths, one post office, and my college is just like called one big garden, football court. After football court is my college, and past the main Northbury Avenue, past road is Lalan.
You talking about Lynham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he certainly has a detailed knowledge of the neighbourhood. This might all be an unfortunate mistake.
So what's the bus company that you used to catch when you were a kid?
No, Kamla only got one bus company.
What's that one?
Oh, it's just called bus company. Kamla only got one bus company.
Right, what's the name of the bus company? Every kid in Canberra knows it.
Action?
Yeah.
Action bus, I think.
Okay.
I've got a passenger of interest. We've been notified from another country that he may be coming in with narcotics, so we'll have a look at it. We may be onto something, he might have something, so we'll see how we go. Have you got a list of drugs?
No.
No? Okay. So you've been Tennessee?
Right.
Over to Canada?
No, Tennessee to Dallas.
Jeff's complicated itinerary and his agitated state have caused a huge blip on the international customs radar. Officials in Canada were suspicious enough to send information on to their Australian counterparts.
So you're looking a bit, sick.
Yes, I am. I've been flying for the last 2 days.
Is everything all right? Do you need a seat or anything?
Yeah.
You need a seat?
Oh, no.
No, you don't need to sit down? Do you need a glass of water or something?
No.
You look a bit, like you're dehydrated or something. Do you need something to...
No.
It's common for drug couriers to conceal drugs internally, so naturally John is interested in Jeff's state of health.
You've eaten nothing on the flight?
Yes.
What did you eat?
We had lunch.
Yeah, what was for lunch?
We had breakfast.
Yeah, lunch and breakfast?
Yes.
Yeah,
and... egg.
There you go. It's just very strange. It starts ticking in your head whether he's actually swallowed something to bring into Australia.
This sounds like Canada all over again.
What, did Canada Customs give you a bit of a hard time, did they?
Well, a little bit.
Yeah, what'd they ask you over there? His answers aren't coming back as quick, and just trying to trick him in his answering and stuff, it's very hard to get him. But yeah, he's a very switched on boy, so we'll just see what we can do. And how much cash you got on you today?
About 7,000.
US?
There seems to be another problem. Jeff has failed to declare cash, which makes John more suspicious.
Can you read question 5 for me?
What is $10,000?
Australian 10,000? Well, the US dollar's a lot more than the Australian. It's probably just over, but you didn't declare it. That's the thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got $7,000 cash on you that you haven't declared on the card. Okay? You can't tell me where you're going to be going, and you're looking very sick to me.
Yes.
Sydney's Cargo Mail Handling Centre. Customs officers are x-raying 2 identical boxes on their way out to Japan.
Got something interesting here. Can you hold that one?
It's hard to tell on X-ray exactly what they are. They do appear to be lizards.
But that's not what the declaration says.
So we'll take a look now very carefully. Okay, there's not much packing in the box, and I can see that there is a number of items bundled in socks. I won't open the socks any further. What we'll do is contact our investigations unit and organise for the items to be taken over to the Taronga Park Zoo and identified over there by qualified staff. It's hard to tell at this stage what condition they're in, whether they're dead or alive or sedated.
Was a split between a couple of people?
It's been a long 2 days for Jeff. He's passed through 4 countries and has aroused the interest of customs in 2 of them.
Is everything all right, sir? Do you need any?
No,
do you need
it's
a
starting
seat?
not be all right.
Sorry?
No, it's starting to not be all right.
Why? What's wrong?
I'm not going to ask some more questions.
Sorry?
I'm not going to ask some more questions.
You're not going to answer any more of my questions.
I think I better.
But you still haven't given me a reason why you're coming to Australia.
What did President Bush do, you guys?
Sorry?
What did President Bush do to your country?
What did President Bush do to our country? What's that got to do with anything? Gut feeling so far at the moment is pretty good. He's struggling answering questions. He's very agitated. He's just moving around like he doesn't know what he's doing. It just seems like he's out of it. So we could have something.
We've actually now discovered that there are 9 boxes in total. They all appear to be coming from the same sender going out of the country to Japan.
The boxes are being taken to Taronga Zoo. There the contents will be identified, dead or alive.
The animals haven't been properly packed. There's no sort of water supply for them. There's actually even no packaging around the box so that they're able to move around and be damaged, bruised, even killed.
9 boxes?
There's some in the back seat as well. So if we can just kind of unload them all and then find out what they are, and then we'll take the boxes back.
We'll just set up in one of our treatment rooms there, and we can just have all the boxes lined up and just work through them slowly.
We will be looking at fingerprinting, so obviously the need for gloves is very important in this case.
All right, well, I'm going to have a look through your bag now, as we said. So I'd like you to open it for me.
Mark is still trying to prove that he is who he says he is. Mark Lau, born in Darwin in 1979.
I'm particularly interested in any documents that you have.
It all started with his passport.
We have received information that says that this passport may have been fraudulently obtained.
The document was issued just 2 years ago, and none of his other forms of ID predated.
What I'm interested in is verification of you as an Australian before these identification documents were issued.
Then there's his dodgy memory.
What was your high school?
I can't remember the school name.
You can't remember the school name?
Mark has some explaining to do.
The other thing I wanted to say, Mr. Lau, while we're doing this, is this. We've just done a more thorough search of our systems, and your parents don't exist, according to us.
You can check, okay?
That's what I'm trying to do, but the trouble is, the things we found are not helping me very much.
Okay.
How long have you been out of Australia for?
No, I born here, I tell you.
How long were you out this trip?
Actually, it's over a month.
Only a month.
Could I speak to somebody who deals with Medicare fraud, please?
Hey, hop, find it. A boy.
Almost every parcel and mail item that enters Australia is physically checked by officers of customs and quarantine.
Okay, we found one of these packages at one of the air cargo depots out in Mascot. It looks a bit dodgy. It should be business documents. G'day, Jane.
Is that the parcel of interest?
Yeah, this is the one I called you about. It's out of South Africa. Reported as business docs. It's all handwritten, a bit dodgy, so I think we should have a close look at it here.
Run it through.
Yeah, there it is there. It still looks like they've cut the paper away, so it's probably a book or something. If we just sort of bring up the negative look there, that's really very, very organic. And
You can definitely see the segments. It's clearly been cut away and placed inside.
Just the difference when you enhance the edges, you can really sort of see where the cracks are. So it's probably something organic. Quarantine might be interested in this one if it's not anything else that we're interested in.
Definitely warrants further investigation. Okay.
At this stage, we don't know what's in it, but the area that it's come from is a known high-risk country, and the image on the screen has definitely given us reasons to look further.
You always said Australia is multi-nationality. I don't think so.
Mark has had enough.
He is travelling on an Australian passport, but we're not so sure if he is an Australian. And one of the things he's got is a Medicare card. And I was wondering if you'd be able to answer this question, basically, whether or not he had a prior Medicare card to this one.
If Mark's Medicare history predates the passport...
Bloody country.
...and proves that he is Mark Lau, he'll be allowed in.
Right.
If not, he may be refused entry.
Now, I've just sent a fax to the Health Insurance Commission about your Medicare card. How long have you had your Medicare card?
This one, I lost the one. I just replaced a new one.
Yeah, this is a new one, huh?
Yeah.
And you had one before that?
Yes.
And you had one before that?
Yeah.
How many Medicare cards have you had?
Before, I come with family one.
Yeah, you're on the family one?
Yeah, I just a separate one.
So is this your first separate one? Second separate one. Okay. The problem that we have still is that we still can't identify your parents from any departmental system.
Okay.
That's a big problem, huh?
Oh, but if you can find the Medicare, I can go in there.
Sorry?
If Medicare can tell all the history, I can go in there.
Well, it depends what they tell me.
Okay.
What we're just going to do now is start taking the package open. We'll run a few iron scan swabs and we'll try and see what it is.
The suspicious package from South Africa needs further investigation.
Looks like it's definitely something that's organic. We're just going to have to use our technology here with the iron scan machine, which will tell us if it's going to be drugs or just some other organic substance. It's got a few layers here. I think they're truly trying to keep it inside, keep the smell inside the package.
So just give that a good wipe around the seams.
All right, we'll go give that a run and see if we get something back.
Go test it. Okay, we've got a registering cocaine there at the moment.
While the readings are for cocaine, the officers aren't convinced.
Yes, because you don't know whether the cocaine's reading from whoever packaged it. Oh my goodness.
A bit odd already.
Definitely not how you find normally bound documents.
Couldn't be. Looks like a
phone book.
Johannesburg phone book. So, wrapped up with a bit of tape, so sort of probably going to...
There's your segments.
Sort of see the powder in there in between the paper. That looks got a bit of colour to it. Normally wouldn't find cocaine with a bit of colour, so might need to just run another test and see what this is.
It goes in with a bit of force, so it's not completely rock, but
fairly stuck in there.
There's definitely white powder residue you can see on the pin. And there you go. We've got heroin.
It's come up for heroin now, so it's come up with a pretty good reading for it.
At Taronga Zoo,
that's a shingleback lizard. Very poor condition.
Everyone's worst fear is realised. The box is full of native wildlife.
I think he's very weak and he probably hasn't eaten for a long time. We'll just put them in individual bags, and once we set them up and warm them up, and that will sort of give them any treatment that they require. But the thing is, they're very cramped in these socks. This guy can't even straighten out. They would have been very sore in there.
It's a cruel act, and one that offers a jail term of up to 10 years.
Again, another shingleback, very poor condition, pretty much the same. Quite likely they've been already in these bags for a couple of days, maybe. But they may have caught these ages ago as well, and they've just been keeping them, I suppose, and waiting for them to accumulate the whole lot.
They are fairly valuable just due to the fact that they only have 1 to 3 young, and they are more difficult than other reptiles to breed.
Because they're monogamous as well, so they don't sort of breed readily.
Oh, I did hear around the $1,000 mark.
US dollar.
Multiply that by 9 boxes and trafficking is big business.
When we get back to the office, we'll go through all of this documentation, obviously, to see if there's any clues as to the people who are behind this.
At Taronga Zoo,
it's a bearded dragon, juvenile.
More than 40 lizards have been removed from the 9 boxes postmarked Japan.
It's a bizarre sort of concept to me to do something like this to an animal. Eastern long-necked turtle. Doesn't look like he's in very good condition. Very dry skin.
They obviously don't care too much about the welfare of the animals. I mean, they wrap them up like this, they put them in a box that they're going to get thrown around, and then they don't seem to care after that. I think it's all about the money for them.
Very big, you know, be quite an old animal, this. There were 44 shinglebacks and 1 bearded dragon and 1 eastern long-necked turtle. And we're just going to put them into our quarantine area here at the zoo, where they'll stay until Customs has some plan for them.
We have to take all the boxes back to the evidence room because they may be required in court at a later date. We'll also be looking further into the sender's details. Obviously 96 Cumberland Street, we've already identified that as a hotel in the Rocks. So we'll be looking to see if somebody stays there with the initials A and G.
Just going to put these 3 segments on the scales.
Jane and Clayton's discovery of drugs concealed in a phone book has paid off. They have stopped a large heroin consignment from hitting our streets.
I'd say you could be looking at up to half a kilo of heroin there. It's a good find. We normally get 100 grams, 200 grams, and it might be in vacuum-sealed little bags inside photo albums, storybooks.
The parcel was handed to the Australian Federal Police. The handwriting on the package is part of an ongoing investigation. So far, there have been no arrests. I'm trying to chase up Medicare. We are waiting for a response on a fax just sent regarding a passenger in immigration clearance. I'd appreciate it if you could give us a call either way within the next few minutes. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Lau, sorry to keep you. What do you think the Health Insurance Commission's going to tell me?
I don't know. You know what Medicare can tell this guy how are your Medicare?
Well, I'm asking you. I've asked them to give me a history of your Medicare.
Yeah, he will be
so what do you think they'll tell me?
He sent a history to you. You understand? He will tell me real history, man.
I've asked Medicare to tell me when you got your previous cards and who your cards were with, because I can't find any record of your parents. Now, what if they can't find any record of your parents either?
Just don't open that up.
What is it?
Back in Customs, Jeff from Texas is playing games.
I think I found something right here. What is this? Well, that's nothing.
Just a sock, is it?
But the officers aren't amused. They still believe Jeff may be a drug courier, so they're moving on to a body search.
I'll go 219.
Now, it's just a quick pat down, just to make sure you're not carrying anything illegal on the body.
Right. By the law of Australia, you have the right to say no to your first search. This means that you may then be held for a higher level of search. But let's not go no higher level of search.
If you just stand like that for me, and this officer will do the search, remember at any time if you want him to stop, just say no, okay?
Jeff is thoroughly checked.
Because sometimes people do hide things on their body, it's very hard to find.
But the body frisk is negative.
Do you have anything in your shoes? No, nothing.
Jeff is agitated and evasive, but despite intense scrutiny by customs officers, it seems Jeff is a bona fide traveller. He's simply a little out of the ordinary.
If you're nervous, or when you haven't done anything, can you imagine when you do something, how you feel?
You're right, you can take your trolley.
Yes.
It's all right. See you later. Have a nice day. Bye.
I need a nice cold Australian beer.
It's just one of those weird things that happen. It's just a strange guy. But
Texas. While Jeff has been cleared, things are not looking good for Mark, and they are still waiting for his Medicare report.
Bottom line is, we have information from the Federal Police to say that the passport was fraudulently obtained. He's maintaining that it wasn't, that he obtained it through the use of his own driver's licence and birth certificate.
And this is his first passport, isn't it?
This is his first passport, never had one before. And all the identification that he has is post the passport. So this entire identity, I believe, has been manufactured on the basis of this passport as a starting point.
I know.
He's got very poor language skills for an Australian educated person. I think that in the light of everything we've got, that we have no choice but to refuse him entry and say we can't be satisfied he complies with 166 because I cannot be satisfied he's this individual.
No.
The long-awaited fax has arrived. Will it change everything? The fax is not good news for Mark. His current Medicare card is the only card on record, and it was issued after his passport.
Okay, Mr. Lau, or Mark, or whatever, we've reached a decision. The decision is that on the basis of the information that you have given me today, and on the basis of the information that we've received from other agencies, we are not satisfied that you are an Australian citizen, Mark Lau, born in Darwin in 1979. I believe that you are another person and are therefore formally refused immigration clearance to Australia. And that means I am going to detain you pursuant to Section 189 of the Migration Act. You will be held in immigration custody pending determination of your correct identity and visa status. Do you understand what I've just said?
I understand.
Okay, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me at this point?
At this point, I want to see my solicitor.
Okay.
At Customs head office,
We've identified the person at the post office who sent these packages. 2 of the packages that I sent yesterday from a post office downstairs in this building.
the 9 identical boxes postmarked Japan contained illegal wildlife export, 45 lizards and 1 long-necked turtle.
You've got to provide an ID these days with the anti-terrorist stuff that's going on to send packages overseas. We've just tracked down that ID. It's a Japanese driver's licence.
They have the number, but no name.
What we're doing now is trying to make some inquiries in Japan to see if we can track down a name to go with the licence number.
Customs investigators identified 2 men allegedly responsible for the illegal smuggling, but they had already left the country. If they return, they may face prosecution. All of the animals survived.
How can you approve? I'm not born in Australia.
The question is not proof, the question is reasonable belief, okay? We don't believe that you are an Australian citizen.
Okay.
And where we're at is that you are now refused entry,
Yeah.
and you are now in immigration custody. Arrangements will be made for your transport from the airport, and that would be to the Immigration Detention Centre in all likelihood. Interview suspended at 12:55.
Mark was interviewed by the Australian Federal Police. He was charged with obtaining an Australian passport using a false birth certificate. Mark's real name is Hao Liu. Hao, a Chinese citizen, was fined $1,000 and given a 5-month suspended jail sentence. Hao returned to China and is subject to a 3-year exclusion period from Australia.
Just come around here.
Can I just have this one first?
Zhong Jing is one of the tens of
right to know
thousands
that
of
you're
overseas
outside.
university students studying in Australia.
Are you Australian passport holder?
No, Chinese. Yeah.
And how long are you here for?
For 1 year and a half.
What are you studying?
Accounting.
Accounting?
Yeah.
Zhong Jing is being quizzed about her customs declaration.
Parents paying for your...
Yeah.
Have you been to Australia before, or is this your first time?
No, the second time.
Second time?
Yes.
That's the only cash that you have? How much do you have all up?
350.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have any more in your bags?
Oh, no.
No, that's it?
Yeah.
What about in here? Any
No.
more in there? How much have we got in here?
It's just about impossible not to see these quarantine warnings when you get off a plane. But alarmingly, that doesn't stop thousands of people ignoring them.
We have over 800,000 passengers arrive in Australian ports every month. Those passengers can carry through 6,500 undeclared seizures through Sydney Airport alone. Those seizures could bring in all sorts of exotic diseases like foot and mouth disease or fruit fly, which could devastate our economy.
That's where these guys come in, with noses 100 times more sensitive than humans. Quarantine beagles are perfect for detecting food and plants hidden in bags. But not every beagle makes a good quarantine officer. This is Beagle Boot Camp. These handlers and their dogs have spent 2 months learning to find hidden food and plants. This time next week, they'll be on duty at Melbourne Airport, as long as they pass their final exams.
They're nervous and they're tense, but, you know, it's no guts, no glory, I think. If we get through this way, it's a very difficult course. If we get through it here, it'll be great.
For the dogs, it's a game. Find the food and get a reward. But for one of the handlers, it's very serious. If Scott's dog Banjo fails, his own job's at risk.
All right, mate, you want to come in with me? We'll have a little chat. Your bags will be safe here.
At Sydney Airport, Immigration Officer Peter has found himself with a wayward passenger.
This gentleman actually turned up on the wrong side of the airport. His flight came down on one side and he turned up on the other. He got lost somewhere up in the halls and ended up coming down here when no passengers were expected, so he naturally drew attention to himself, and that's why we started looking. Just a quick chat. Have you been to Australia before?
Yes.
And this was on your Canadian passport?
Yes, we did.
Have you ever used your Romanian passport to travel to Australia?
No, because with Romania I need visa.
Right, okay. Can you tell me why you're here?
And I come to arrange some boxing, and because I'm here
That's
to
what
arrange,
you do, huh?
to arrange with Vlad.
Vlad?
Vlad, and I forget, Vlad is a manager of Costa too.
You're a boxer too, huh?
Yes.
What division do you fight in?
80
kilos?
Yeah, depends.
One of the things that we're a little bit worried about is that your passport seems to have some damage to it. And we're not sure at this stage what to make of that. We don't know what to think about whether or not your passport has been damaged just you know, through normal wear and tear, or whether or not somebody's perhaps deliberately played with it. Maybe somebody fooled with this passport, maybe, we think.
Back at the customs barrier,
How much?
10,000 US dollars.
Now we have a problem.
Zheng Jing has been caught with a stash of undeclared cash, way above the legal limit.
10,000 American and over 9,000 Australian.
Madam, you have to listen carefully to what I'm going to say. You do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used as evidence. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You read question number 5, madam.
Do you carry the cash equal or more than 10,000 Australian dollars?
Right.
Yeah.
10,000 or equivalent to 10,000 Australian dollars.
Equivalent on.
Have you got any other cash?
On.
Have you got any more cash?
Any more cash?
Yes.
No.
This time, customs won't take no for an answer.
Anyway?
No.
All right, well, I'm just going to go and make another couple of phone calls, and then I'll come back and talk to you again.
Marion, the Romanian boxer travelling on a suspicious Canadian passport, is remaining calm. But immigration officers have decided to bring in a document expert.
I've just spoken to the document examiner. He's on his way. He's going to be about 30 minutes, and he's going to come in and have a look at the passport. I spoke to him about the features on the page, and we've actually thought that it's warranting him coming in from home to have a look at it.
He did a couple of eye flicks. He's very dry-mouthed. He's sitting very tensely, very upright. He's very nervous.
The rule is that you must declare anything over 10,000 Australian dollars or equivalent.
She's claiming ignorance, but Zheng Jing has broken the law.
No.
10,000 US?
Yes.
10,000 US.
9,500.
The Chinese student has brought in double the legal amount of undeclared cash.
I just have some pocket money.
Yeah, and what's that pocket money for?
This one?
No, what's this money for?
Huh?
What's this money for?
This is money?
Yes, what's that money for?
I just carry this money.
Yes, what's the money for? What do you use the money for?
For my living?
Okay, rightio. I'm going to make a phone call.
Going to make phone call?
A phone call, yeah, to the Australian Federal Police.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what will happen after I made the phone call. Okay?
Why didn't you declare the money?
clear the money. My parents gave me this.
Unfortunately for Zhong Jing, the growing pile of hidden money has forced the hand of customs.
We believe that she's in excess of her currency and that we're detaining her for that reason and doing a baggage examination.
I'm going to go back through this bag again, okay?
Okay.
Any in here? Nothing in here?
You can see. Is there any problem?
Is there a problem? Yeah, there is, because you didn't declare it. If you hadn't declared it, there wouldn't have been a problem. You would have just filled out a form and you would have been on your way.
Okay, madam, what's going to happen now is once we've done the pat-down or frisk search, the federal police will be talking to you about your currency.
About my parents.
Yeah, about your money.
If she can't prove that all of this is hers, the police will seize it.
They will carry my money?
They will
take her money.
Take my money.
I don't know what they'll do. I have really no idea of what the Australian Federal Police will do.
Okay, won't be long. Okay, I will ring this person.
Back in Sydney, Peter is going to check with a relative to see if Marion's story is true.
Hi, Clarice. My name's Peter. I'm from Immigration at Sydney Airport. We're just checking up on a couple of things that he's told us, and one of them is that he was coming to stay with you. Okay, are you able to name this chap for me? Oh, no, you don't need to spell it. And have you met him before? Oh, okay. All right, cheers. Bye-bye. What I've gleaned from that is that a lot of what he told me is true. The niece advised me that as far as she is aware, he's a Romanian citizen, but he did live in Canada for quite some time, which gels with a Canadian passport. She's not sure what he does for a living, but they were expecting him for another short visit.
His story checks out, but Peter still thinks there is something wrong with Marion's passport. It will be up to the document examiner to determine if the passport is just damaged or has been tampered with.
So much rests on this document. So much rests on the document.
Thanks for the phone call late at night.
In Sydney, the specialist document examiner has started his forensic work to inspect Marion's passport.
He's going to do a microscopic examination of this passport. He's going to be looking at things as close as the fibre of the paper, the disturbance, if any, to the glue of the paper. He's going to be looking at all these security features. And if it is as we think, and it could be a slice the paper, insert the photograph, that is very, very subtle, very difficult to detect because it doesn't damage the normal security features. This is why we called him in the first place. He's an expert document examiner. We've got some skills in that area, but when it's one of these ones that you really need a trained and expert eye to have a look at, and that's why he's here.
Some things are telling me there could be, it's either wear or tear or damage from tampering. This is what I have to determine now.
This should only take another 10 or 15 minutes and we should have some answer for you, all right? He's my expert. He's a fully qualified forensic expert in document examination. I'm not. So if he says it's a dud document or a fraudulent document, that's good enough for us, and we will proceed on that basis.
Back at Beagle School, Senior Officer D is explaining how the test will work.
Usual validation, 7 runs. 1 will be a blank run. If your dog alerts, you will say, put your hand up, say it's in here, and we'll either say correct or incorrect.
Okay, this one. Show me. Show me. Yes.
Correct.
Show me. Show me.
Incorrect.
The dogs have been trained to detect fresh fruit and vegetables, meat, plant material, even birds and reptiles. They're supposed to sit if they smell something.
We're only not novice dogs, so we're not expecting what we expect from a dog that's been in the field. But it's very stressful, so they'll be out there chewing their nails, that's for sure.
It only takes a couple of targets. If he misses, then I fail. So we're back to square one then. So it's very important that I keep him on his game and keep him sharp so that he doesn't miss any of those targets and I can get through the validation today. Yeah.
Blenjo, fine. Yes, good boy. Good dog.
Banjo's off to a good start, but it's not a perfect run.
Okay, find it.
The testers have put cheese in one of the boxes. Although it is food, it's not food Banjo should be reacting to.
Incorrect.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. He went really well then. Yeah, really happy with him on that run. He sat again on the cheese, but I think I'll just have to do a bit more training with him on the cheese and he'll sort it out.
With only 2 runs left, Scott and Banjo are still under pressure.
Yes, good boy. Good dog.
At the end of the day, the team find out the results.
Well done, guys. You're all through.
But it's not over yet. Tomorrow is the real world test, when the dogs and their handlers visit the airport.
I'm happy at the moment because Part A was really good. They got all their targets. It's still not over yet, and you know, it's going to be a hard one tomorrow, but we'll see how we go.
We've been out there a couple of times and he gets very distracted. Any little noises or any passengers' movement, he tends to just sort of start looking around. With time, he'll get over that, and I think he'll become a very good dog at the end of the day.
So how long have you been out of Canada?
I've been to Canada. I live. Sometimes I go there, sometimes Romanian, but the moment I live in Romanian.
Ah, okay.
What I'm looking for here is enlarged stitch holes, loose stitching, any extra
While the document examiner continues to determine the validity of Marian's passport.
I don't see any extra stitch holes there, so that appears to be genuine.
I show you here.
Peter is using informal conversation to gather information.
Ah, you're married in Romania, huh?
Yes. Look, I'm in Canada here.
You're in Canada?
Niagara.
Ah, lovely.
Niagara Falls.
Beautiful.
So the fluorescent dots here, they're planchettes, and that tells me that the security features in the paper are genuine. Yeah, I'm actually looking at the biographical data page. I can't find anything wrong with the passport, so now I'm looking for any irregularities, any tampering, especially with the biographical print, and also around the photograph and with the lamina.
Do you have children?
Yes, one daughter.
How old are?
7.
7. Good age. It's a good age.
I'm looking around the area of the photograph, and there's a couple of little indentations in the lamina which suggest that another photograph could have been there.
Next stop, please. Next stop.
In the customs hall, officers want to search Zheng Jing for any more hidden cash. So far, she's resisting.
If I refuse this, I will meet a lot of trouble after that.
I don't. No, that's not the case.
They've
if you
already
refuse this,
found
you won't
more
be in a
than
lot of trouble after.
$23,000.
I will in the jail.
Are you in? No. Sorry.
I just carry some cash.
Yep.
Why should do this? No drug, no anything else.
Yeah, okay. We just want to make sure there's no cash or anything other that's on your body or in your pockets.
Okay.
Okay?
You have the right to go to a private room.
Because it's my misunderstanding about the items.
Yeah.
Under.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
Okay, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to get another female officer. Basically, all she had to do was just fill out a bit of paperwork and she would have been on her way. However, now we've got this problem whereas she hasn't declared the money and now the AFP are interested in her. They'll take the money from her and she may be charged.
Police seized a total of $23,951 in mixed currency. Zheng Jing said the money was for university fees. It was her belief that she only had to declare Australian dollars. She was fined $1,000.
A friend in Australia.
You're visiting a friend?
Yeah,
It's turning into a very long day for the Romanian boxer, who came to Australia to arrange a few bouts and found himself going a few rounds with immigration.
So, yeah, if you don't mind waiting 10 or 15, and then we should be able to give you some more information then. All right?
There is some irregularities down the side here as well. Possibly could have been split. I have to do some more examinations on that part of it to see whether there's been split or tampered with, or there's just wear and tear.
Is your wife Canadian too?
Yes.
So you're both Canadian. So your daughter would have both passports?
Yes.
Emma, what I've found is around the edge of the photograph, there is a second indentation in the lamina all the way around, which doesn't align with the photograph. And on the corresponding page behind the photograph, we can also see a second indentation along here, which again doesn't align up with the photograph. There's damage around the photograph as well. The damage there is consistent with the passport that's been photo substituted.
Yep. So they've come in at the side.
They've come in from the side, done it that way.
Split the page and just put the photo straight in.
So my opinion, it's been photo substituted.
Great.
In Sydney, immigration must decide what to do with the Romanian boxer.
Hi, Petra. Right, Dave's completed his examination and it has been a photo substituted passport. So it's a really good pick.
His passport has been tampered with and the evidence against him is strong.
Well, very simply, what has happened is they've taken a piece of paper, say like any A4 sheet of paper, and actually cut it in half, but instead of cutting it in half this way, they've cut it in half along the length of the paper. So it's like surgery. They've with very fine instruments, actually separated the fibres of the paper, split it apart, taken out the photograph and put in another one, and then managed to put it all down without damaging too much of the lamina on the top. It's a really good job. And that's why I'm particularly pleased with the result we've got tonight. This passport's been in circulation since 2000.
The other thing, the signature on the passenger card is...
Doesn't match that.
Well, they're trying to match it. It's like we've done with a real steady sort of slow movement. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go and have a chat with this chappie then, see what he's got to say for himself.
Well, today, unlike yesterday, is a field validation. Yesterday was the scent validation in the training shed, and today's a field validation in the real world. So it's getting the dogs out and the handlers out and testing them in real conditions.
It's D-Day for Banjo and the other dogs. If they fail this test, they fail the course. For Banjo, it'll mean retraining, but for Scott, it could mean finding a new job.
I'll just go through just very quickly what I want each of you to think about. Speed of search can be a little bit quick sometimes, but I don't want you to go like a snail around the place either. So there's that little balance you've got to work on.
Keep the balance.
Yep. Okay.
Good at.
Scott's worried the airport will be a far greater challenge to Banjo than the training shed.
He gets very distracted here at the airport. He tends just to, if there's a noise in the background, he tends just to look over to see what the noise is. And also the safety is probably the biggest one. There's a lot of movement of trolleys, passengers, so it's very important that I keep his safety in mind as well.
Steve is planting a bag full of pears, a target odour.
We're just going to train some dogs, so it's a training bag.
But can Banjo find it?
Yes, good boy. Good dog.
Judges Doug and Dee are watching Scott and Banjo's every
He's got his lead a little bit scrunched up in the hand there.
I just asked to put them on the floor. Thank you. Good dog. Banjo, find it, mate. Good boy. Just get you to pop all your handbags down on the floor for us.
His voice could be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, he's a big bloke. He should be able to protect himself a bit more.
Yes, good dog. How you going, sir?
Banjo's hit on biscuits, which the couple has declared.
Okay, that's fine. No fruit or vegetables in there at all?
Well, they've finished their run. I don't know what's happened yet. It's up to the validators. So we'll certainly know in a minute or two, I hope. And I hope it's a success.
All 5 beagles passed yesterday's tests, but they won't be working on the front line unless they pass today as well. Like the 50 beagles already working at airports around Australia, these dogs must be the best of the best. And for handler Scott, this is where he finds out whether he still has a job.
Good news, everyone has got through.
I'm pretty proud. Yeah, he's a good little fella. Definitely way off the shoulders. Yeah, really good.
Marion from Romania says he has come to Australia to arrange some boxing. He's travelling on a Canadian passport, which a document examiner has been inspecting under a microscope. Now, the gloves are off.
Mr. Ngoi, please sit down. I think we have some matters we need to discuss. Okay? We've completed an examination of your passport. It's been subjected to scientific forensic analysis, and we have come to the conclusion that your passport has been photo substituted. In other words, you are not a Canadian citizen, and that passport was not originally issued to you. It's been your photo has replaced the original photo that was in it.
Who said like this?
Our document people. Scientific examination.
What?
A scientific examination was taken of your passport, and our experts have concluded that your passport has been photo substituted. What do you have to say about that?
No.
You deny that it's been photo substituted?
No.
Would you like us to talk to your consulate for you?
To speak with?
The Canadian consulate, to verify the details that you're telling us.
It's better to go. If you don't leave it to go in Australia, go back.
Because that would be the consequence of what we're talking about today. And what I propose to do is to cancel the tourist visa that you have, refuse you entry to Australia, and put you back on a plane.
No problem.
We will also have to make arrangements for a new travel document for you because we cannot give you back that Canadian passport.
Why don't give it away?
Because we believe that that passport is a fraudulent passport, and under international law we have to seize such documents.
If you don't tell me leave it to go in country, no problem, I'll go back.
Yeah, well see, that makes me think that you knew your passport was a problem passport. I think you knew. He's agreeing to disagree with you, Dave. You're no good. You're no good.
That's how we keep getting better.
Right, here I go. Okay, bad news, I'm afraid. We can't get you on Malaysian tonight.
People are sometimes turned around the same day and don't spend any time in a detention centre. That's not the case with Marion.
You'll be going to a place in Sydney called Villawood, and that's where the immigration detention centre is. Okay? It's not a prison for criminals, it's a place for detaining immigrant problems. So, about 1 more hour, and then they'll come and get you. 1 hour. Okay.
The fight's over, and it's a knockout.